Solved problems. Manufacturing account, statement of profit and loss account, and statement of financial position by accounts lobby. Problem. Practice exercises. 1. Using the information below, you are required to prepare for Recrords Limited the manufacturing account and the statement of profit and loss account for the year ended 31st December 2015. Statement of financial position as at 31st December 2014. Ordinary shares of N1 each fully paid 100,000. Reserves 1,000. Trade payable 57,400. Non-current asset at cost 60,000. Inventories, raw materials factory 25,000. Work in progress 5,800. Finished goods 51,000. Trade receivable 35,000. Cash at bank 2,000. Administrative expenses prepaid 600. The following transactions occurred during the year 2015. Turnover less returns 243,000. Cash from trade receivable 234,700. Discount allowed 5,400. Bad debts written off 1,100. Purchase of raw material less returns 80,000. Payments to trade payables 82,500. Discount received 1,700. Factory wages paid 33,300. Manufacturing expenses paid 61,900. Administrative expenses paid 16,200. Selling and distribution expenses paid 16,800. Payment for purchase of non-current assets 30,000. Statement of financial position as at 31st December 2015. Non-current cost 90,000. Amount 60,000. Inventories, raw materials 24,000. Work in progress 5,000. Finished goods 52,000. Administrative expenses accrued 1,100. Factory wages accrued 700. Selling and distribution expenses accrued 1,200. The following information is also given below. A. Depreciation of non-current assets is to be apportioned between manufacturing, administration and selling in the proportion of 7:2:1. B. Discounts allowed and bad debts written off are to be regarded as selling distribution expenses. C. Discounts received are to be credited to administration expenses. Solution. Let us prepare the statement of financial position as on 31st December 2014 to find out the retained earnings or profit during the year 2014. Statement of financial position as at 31st December 2014. Liabilities amount, assets amount. On the asset side, non-current assets 60,000, raw materials factory 25,000, work in progress 5,800, finished goods 51,000, trade receivable 35,000, cash at bank 2,000, prepaid admin expenses 600, total assets 179,400. On the liabilities side, ordinary shares 100,000, reserves 1,000, trade payable 57,400. When we balance the account from assets and liabilities, there is a difference of 21,000. It amounts to retained earnings or profit. Total liabilities including retained earnings is 179,400. Let us pass the opening, closing and adjustment entries for the year 2015 in the books of Recrords Limited journal entries. Account title, ledger folio, debit, credit. Opening entry, ordinary shares, credit 100,000, reserves, credit 100,000, trade payable, credit 57,400, non-current assets, debit 60,000, raw materials factory 25,000, debit, work in progress, debit 5,800, finished goods, debit 51,000, trade receivable, debit 35,000, cash at bank, debit 2,000, prepaid admin expenses, debit 600, retained earnings, credit 21,000, total debits 179,400, total credits 179,400. Closing of prepaid admin expenses as on 31st December 2014. Admin expenses debtor to prepaid admin expenses. Transaction journal entries in the general journal. Turnover less returns. Trade receivable debtor 243,000 to sales 243,000. Cash received from trade receivables. Cash at bank debtor 234,700 to trade receivable 234,700. Discount allowed. Selling expenses debtor 5,400 to trade receivable credit 5,400. Bad debts written off. Selling expenses debtor 1,100 to trade receivable 1,100. Purchase of raw material less returns. Purchases debtor 80,000 to trade payable 80,000. Payment to trade payables. Trade payable debit 82,500. Cash at bank credit 82,500. Discount received. Trade payable debtor 1,700 to admin expenses 1,700. Factory wages paid. Factory wages account debtor 33,300 to cash at bank 33,300. Manufacturing expenses paid. Manufacturing expenses debtor 61,900 to cash at bank 61,900. Administration expenses paid. Administration expenses debtor 16,200 to cash at bank 16,200. Selling and distribution expenses paid. Selling and distribution expenses debtor 16,800 to cash at bank 16,800. Payment for purchase of non-current assets. Non-current assets debtor 30,000 to cash at bank 30,000. Depreciation of non-current assets, manufacturing, admin and selling in the ratio of 7:2:1. Depreciation manufacturing debtor 21,000. Depreciation administration debtor 6,000. Depreciation selling expenses debtor 3,000 to accumulated depreciation 30,000. Closing entries. Admin expenses accrued. Admin expenses debtor to outstanding admin expenses. Factory wages accrued. Factory wages account debtor 700 to outstanding factory wages 700 credit. Selling and distribution expenses accrued. Selling expenses debtor to outstanding selling expenses 1,200. Let us post the journal entries into ledger accounts in the books of Rukavi Nig Limited. Ledger account title debit credit. Accumulated depreciation account. Depreciation manufacturing credit 21,000. Depreciation admin credit 6,000. Depreciation selling credit 3,000. Balance carried down 30,000. Administration expenses account. Prepaid admin expenses debit 600. Trade payable credit 17,100. Cash at bank debit 16,200. Admin expenses accrued 1,100. Balance carried down 16,200 debit. Cash at bank account opening balance 2,000 debit. Trade receivable 234,700 debit. Trade payable credit 82,500. Factory wages credit 33,300. Manufacturing expenses 61,900 credit. Admin expenses 16,200 credit. Selling expenses 16,800 credit. Non-current assets credit 30,000. Balance carried down 4,000 credit. Depreciation admin account accumulated depreciation account debit 6,000. Balance carried down debit 6,000. Depreciation manufacturing accumulated depreciation debtor 21,000 to balance carried forward 21,000. Depreciation selling accumulated depreciation account debtor 3,000. Balance carry forward 3,000 debit. Factory wages account cash at bank debit 33,300. Factory wages accrued 700. Balance carry forward debit 34,000. Finished goods account closing stock 51,000. Balance carry forward 51,000 debit. Manufacturing expenses cash at bank debit 61,900. Balance carried down 61,900 debit. Non-current assets opening balance 60,000. Cash at bank 30,000. Balance carried down 90,000 debit. Admin expenses accrued. Admin expenses credit 1,100. Balance carried down 1,100 credit. Factory wages accrued. Factory wages credit 700. Balance carried down 700 credit. Selling expenses accrued account. Selling expenses credit 1,200. Balance carried down 1,200 credit. Ordinary shares opening balance credit 100,000. Balance carried down 100,000 credit. Prepaid admin expenses opening balance 600. Admin expenses accrued 600. Balance carried down nil. Purchases trade payable debit 80,000. Balance carried down 80,000 debit. Raw material factory opening stock 25,000, balance carried down 25,000 debit. Reserves opening balance credit 1,000, balance carried down 1,000 credit. Retained earnings account ordinary shares debit 100,000, reserves debit 100,000, trade payable debit 57,400, non-current assets credit 60,000, raw material factory 25,000, work in progress credit 5,800, finished goods credit 51,000, trade receivable credit 35,000, cash at bank credit 2,000, prepaid admin expenses credit 600, balance carried down 21,000 credit. Sales account trade receivable credit 243,000, balance carried down 243,000 credit. Selling expenses trade receivable debit 5,400, trade receivable debit 1,100, cash at bank debit 16,800, selling expenses accrued 1,200, total balance carried forward 24,500 debit. Trade payable account opening balance credit 57,400, purchases credit 80,000, cash at bank 82,500, admin expenses discount 1,700 debit, balance carried forward 53,200 credit. Trade receivable account opening balance debit 35,000, sales debit 243,000, cash at bank credit 234,700 credit. Selling expenses discount 5,400, selling expenses bad debts 1,100 credit, balance carried down 36,800 debit. Work in progress account opening balance 5,800, balance carried forward 5,800. Let us prepare adjusted trial balance as on 31st December 2015 from the ledger accounts above. In the books of Recrords Nig Limited, adjusted trial balance, account title, debit, credit, accumulated depreciation, credit 30,000, admin expenses, debit 16,200, cash at bank, credit 4,000, depreciation manufacturing 21,000, depreciation admin 6,000, depreciation selling 3,000, factory wages 34,000, finished goods 51,000, manufacturing expenses 61,900 debit, non-current assets 90,000 debit. Admin expenses accrued credit 1,100, factory wages accrued 700 credit, selling expenses accrued 1,200 credit, ordinary shares credit 100,000, purchases debit 80,000, raw material factory debit 20,000, reserves credit 1,000, retained earnings credit 21,000, sales credit 243,000, selling expenses debit 24,500, trade payable credit 53,200, trade receivable debit 36,800, work in progress debit 5,800, total debits 455,200, total credits 455,200. Let us prepare manufacturing, trading and profit and loss account for the year ended 31st December. In the books of Recrords Nig Limited, manufacturing account, particulars amount. On the debit side, raw materials factory 20,000, work in progress 5,800, purchases 80,000, manufacturing expenses 61,900, factory wages 34,000, depreciation manufacturing 21,000, total expenses 227,700. On the credit side, raw materials factory closing stock 24,000, work in progress closing stock 5,000. When we balance the account, there is a difference of 198,700. This is finished cost of finished goods transferred to trading account. Trading account on the debit side, finished goods transferred from trading account 198,700. On the credit side, sales 243,000, finished goods closing stock 52,000, total credits 295,000. On the debit side, finished goods opening balance 51,000, selling expenses 24,500, depreciation selling 3,000. When we balance the account, there is a gross profit of 17,800 transferred to profit and loss account. In the profit and loss account, on the credit side, gross profit from trading account 17,800. On the debit side, admin expenses 16,200, depreciation admin 6,000, total expenses 22,200. When we balance the account, there is a difference of 4,400 representing net loss transferred to retained earnings account. Let us prepare the statement of financial position as on 31st December 2015. In the books of Recrords Limited, balance sheet as on 31st December 2015. Liabilities amount, assets amount. On the asset side, inventories, raw material 24,000, work in progress 5,000, finished goods 52,000, total inventories 81,000, trade receivable 36,800, non-current assets 90,000, less accumulated depreciation minus 30,000, net non-current assets 60,000, total assets 177,800. On the liability side, ordinary shares 100,000, reserves 1,000, retained earnings, previous year balance 21,000, less net loss 4,400, net retained earnings 16,600, trade payable 53,200, cash at bank overdraft 4,000, admin expenses accrued 1,100, factory wages accrued 700, selling expenses accrued 1,200, total expenses accrued 3,000, total liabilities 177,800. Recap. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel Accounts Lobby for various solved problems and lectures on accountancy.